Mark Golding coming with Finsac 2.0, taking 360 billion from discretionary funds to sink us again. Can't say we didn't warn you against these Rise United hoodwinkers. I am not good at math, but me brighter than Marky G when it comes to economics. Just try wrapping your head around that. When did Jamaica sink so low in having someone like this as a leader? I mean, someone so clueless. They want to run an entire country's economy, but these numberless so-called bankers do not know figures. Bringing a manifesto to a budget debate, I kid you not. Yeah, that's what they did. It's even on the news, so go look it up. Their business is sinking, and now they want our country's business to run. Comrades, you can see for yourselves. Have you hit your heads? Mark Golding is hitting his against the brick wall again, and that is insane. Faval Williams got in his head. Now he can't get her out of his mind. About brr, 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 as usual. He thinks that headbutting the brick wall is going to help him now. I did warn them both favor, but Mark Golding thought he was smarter, a delusional man. Faval Williams is a cerebral person, people, not the kind you would try to push around in her field of endeavor. Ask Sapphire Langmore. Ask her. Hi everyone, it's Skywalker again. Welcome to the channel where good coffee makes bad people feel bad. That's not a bad thing though. I would appreciate if you give a thumb up to this video. You can stay connected by subscribing as well and even hitting the bell icon. That would be so very well appreciated. And I thank you for your support. Marky G lives in a glass house and loves to throw stones, as everybody can see by now. And he does not know figures, but wants to run the economy and tie with numbers. That is how you spell Finsac, my people. Now, he is reaching for Jamaica's discretionary funds. Some of the things he claims he wants to do for Jamaica are being done already. That is how you spell Finsac 2.0, my people. Hello. He wants to set up all sorts of funds, shifting control from government mainstream oversight. And you know what happened at the municipalities, right? That is how you spell Finsac again. People, the best way to send the message that you want to screw the poor is to mess with the discretionary funds. And by the end of this video, you will see why. That's the way you spell screw poor people, my family. That's the way these Rise United pain people love the poor by bringing them pain from Finsac on to this day non-stop, right? And the way I'm into this one, it's like I'm gonna spend a little time to break it down for you because I think someone should. Mark Golding is actually literally promising Jamaica Finsac again. And enough fools out there jumping up about, yeah, yeah, Marky G. Like when the farmer is bringing his favorite goat to the butcher, and the goat is so happy to go, think him a go get grass to eat. How we have so many self-destructive comrade people in Jamaica, I don't know. We are at a point where we don't have to debate. It's happening right before our eyes, and they are showing us what they will do to Jamaica. Mark G cannot hide his hands, although he's trying to hide it. The things that they say and the things that they do is proving it. Bringing your numberless political manifesto to a financial argument as a budget debate is like trying to use fart to blow up a balloon. And the guy just sits there looking like he is dumb before jumping up, disturbing everyone and saying something dumb. He needs some behavioral lessons too. Mhm. He wants to dip into what little discretionary funds we have. He wants to Finsac us again, and that's a very serious threat. We need our discretionary funds for infrastructure development. There is so much to fund. We have the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, which is so ambitious and aims to enhance connectivity and safety along Jamaica's southern coast. It includes construction of a four-lane highway from Harborview to Albion and two lanes from Albion to Yallah's Bridge, not to mention the rehabilitation of 93 kilometers of road from Yallah's Bridge to Port Antonia and 27.5 kilometers from Morant Bay to Cedar Valley. Morant Bay to Cedar Valley, 27.5 kilometers, people. Upgrades to water lines, land acquisition, and relocation of utility poles. The project is expected to reduce travel time, improve road safety, and boost economic activity in underserved areas. It's not something we are spending money doing that is only superficial. It's something good and important and needed. We have water infrastructure upgrades work to do. These include projects like the Greater Mandeville Water Supply Improvement, which aims to reduce non-revenue water losses and improve service reliability for growing communities. Golding is trying to find one of these to cut, tying with what works to do an experiment. He is threatening Finsac again. Finsac 2.0. Fable Williams calculated it, and you know she has the brains. It's 2.0. We have our social programs, the Solidarity Program, a 1 billion initiative providing one-time cash grants of 20,000 to 50,000 vulnerable Jamaicans. This program targets individuals not covered by existing social safety nets like PAT or NIS. It supports elderly persons in need, youth not engaged in education or employment, micro businesses affected by disasters, medically indigent individuals, and persons with disabilities. The program also includes efforts to help beneficiaries obtain formal identification through the Operation Birthright program. People, Mark Golding is looking at which one of these to cut, tying with a system that works and keeps getting better just to do an experiment. This is how you spell FinSac 2.0, my people. But Mark Golding doesn't figure because he doesn't know figures, and that's why his business is proven to be going down. We don't want a no figures budget debate man to ruin our country. That is common sense. So go figure. We have education and youth development to fund with our discretionary funds. Every dollar is needed. We have expanded apprenticeship programs. These programs aim to equip young Jamaicans with skills for critical industries like construction and hospitality. For example, a partnership with Sandals Corporate University provides paid hands-on training with participants earning weekly stipends and saving a portion for future use. The Amber Heart Academy has trained nearly 500 youths in data analytics, cybersecurity, and app development, with many securing internships and career pathways. Where in the discretionary funds, can Markiji find 360 billion to withdraw? Huh? Is it from the education of our youth? Once a Finsac man, always a Finsac man, it seems. Mhm. Tell me if you don't agree. Once a Finsac guy, always a Finsac guy. Hello, the discretionary funds must stretch. It must stretch. We have community development to do. Rural water supply projects funded by the Caribbean Development Bank. These projects aim to improve access to potable water for over 38,000 Jamaicans in rural areas. Will you cut that, Mark G? These initiatives include climate resilient water systems for 20 rural communities, 20 upgrades to water storage, transmission, and distribution systems. The Rio Cobre water treatment plant, which will serve over 150 residents, 150,000 residents in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine. Do you want to screw the poor on that part? Eh? Is them the poor one that you want to go screw now? Hello. Hello. These programs matter. You cannot cut any one of them. These initiatives are not just about development, they are lifelines for many Jamaicans. Cutting discretionary funds could delay critical infrastructure projects affecting connectivity and economic growth, leave vulnerable populations without essential support, reduce opportunities for youth to gain skills and employment, worsen water access issues in rural communities. This is how you spell FinSac 2.0, but we don't want it. We don't want no more FinSac. Discretionary funds are the engine driving Jamaica's long term growth and stability. Tampering with these allocations could stall progress and undermine the quality of life for many citizens. Do you really believe that it's kosher to come from London into our country, destroy it, and then when you see us building back, you want to go back into our parliament to do experiment? Huh? Like you are an orthopedic surgeon testing medicine on Jamaicans as guinea pigs or something like that. Man, we don't want Finsac again. Go sit down. Go learn figures or something. Go figure. Go figure. Why cutting discretionary funds is dangerous, like Finsac? Huh? Why cutting discretionary funds is dangerous, like Finsac? There is a limited fiscal space. What in limited fiscal space is so confusing to you, Marky G? What? You want to cut the limited space to make it bigger, Marky G? Huh? We don't want no buffoonery mat over here. No buffoonery mat. Go learn the figures. People will laugh when they hear you talk it because it's funny. But we all know that Finsac is nothing to laugh about. Hmm? Hmm? People feel so bad that they analyze themselves. Jamaica's budget operates with tight constraints due to high debt obligations and recurring costs like wages and utilities. Currently, debt servicing alone accounts for about 30 to 40% of the national budget. So why do you come thinking you can run around in limited space like you are on unlimited acres? Let us live within our means and continue to grow in comfort and certainty. Not no doggone mad scientist Professor Gizmo making things that don't work over here. No, no confusion. Mm. We have limited room for additional flexibility, but how we navigate our little wiggle room is working out just fine for us. Discretionary funds represent one of the few areas where the government can proactively invest in growth related initiatives. Slashing these funds to redirect them elsewhere could create stagnation, leaving the country without the financial resources to push forward its development agenda. In other words, you slashing these funds is like you slashing poor people's throat, like when you did the Finsac thing. Slashing these funds could also delay key national targets like improving infrastructure or reducing rural poverty, which rely heavily on discretionary spending. Come sit down. You there university, Markiji. Programs funded by discretionary allocations, such as the Solidarity Program, directly support Jamaica's most at-risk citizens. You hear that? Cutting funding for such initiatives could leave thousands of individuals, elderly citizens, unemployed youth, and individuals with disabilities without a safety net. Roll back years of progress in poverty alleviation, particularly in underserved rural areas, lead to growing economic inequality as those who are already vulnerable are left without critical support systems. For example, if the Operation Birthright program, which helps undocumented citizens gain birth certificates, faces funding cuts, it could deprive many Jamaicans of access to healthcare, education, and even employment opportunities, all of which require legal identification. These cascading effects could destabilize communities, particularly in regions already struggling with socio-economic challenges. This is how you spell Finsac 2.0 Markeji. Stop threatening us. Stop threatening us. Discretionary funded infrastructure projects, such as the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, play a vital role in stimulating local economics. These projects create jobs from construction workers to local suppliers. Thousands of Jamaicans directly benefit from employment opportunities tied to these developments. Infrastructure improvements enable businesses to expand their reach, particularly in rural areas, creating a more interconnected and efficient economic landscape. Improved infrastructure encourages both domestic and foreign investment, critical for Jamaica's sustained growth. If discretionary funds are cut, such projects may face delays, cost overruns, or even cancellation, leading to job losses and reduced economic activity. The knock on effect is clear. Fewer jobs mean lower consumer spending, which can slow overall economic growth. So just because you hear the word discretionary doesn't mean it's not important. Never you dare change a winning formula because it might be catastrophic, like Finsac. Discretionary funded programs are often the most visible and impactful initiatives that directly touch citizens' lives. For example, the rural water supply projects funded by the Caribbean Development Bank have provided thousands of Jamaicans with access to potable water. Scaling back such initiatives could lead to public outcry, particularly in communities where water access remains a daily struggle. Education focused programs, such as the expanded apprenticeship initiatives, have been a beacon of hope for young Jamaicans seeking to enter the workforce. If such programs are curtailed, it could send a negative message to the public that long term Investments in human capital are being de- deprioritized, and that is really scary to think about, especially for the masses. The erosion of trust in the government's ability to manage resources effectively can have political consequences and destabilize the social contract between citizens and their leaders. And do you want to cut support to healthcare? Huh? You made some kind of undertone statement that sounded like bringing back some kind of user fees to healthcare. Is that where you are going on that part? You claim you will help the poor, but the poor do not automatically get richer every time you talk about health. Raising healthcare on them and then making it more affordable will not be kosher. It's Finsac 2.0. Come clean, Mark Golden, and go learn the figures too. While it's natural for political leaders to propose bold initiatives, tampering with discretionary funds in a tight fiscal environment could disrupt the delicate balance that keeps Jamaica moving forward. Stability and consistent investment in infrastructure, social programs, and education are critical for long term growth. Growth doesn't escalate overnight, and progress requires patience, careful planning, and steady investment. Attempting to force gallant changes without a stable footing could risk jeopardizing the very systems that are already working organically and coming to bear naturally. The focus should perhaps shift to exploring new sources of revenue are improving the efficiency of existing programs rather than making cuts that could have far reaching consequences. Instead of slashing discretionary budgets, the government could probably seek to enhance revenue collection, improve tax compliance, and broaden the tax base, but only by means that won't burden the people. They could collaborate with private entities to fund infrastructure and social programs. They could run efficiency audits, identify and eliminate waste in existing programs. They could leverage grants and loans for specific projects. These are some of the few things left to consider at this point that would not be as disruptive as Finsac 2.0. However, Andrew Holness' formula is obviously working, but the British man cannot wait for the reserves to grow more and for him to be there. We, the people of Jamaica, bear patient. We bear patience, but only with what will work. We are not ready to be patient with a Professor Gizmo thing. Mark Golding seems to be from the fast lane, hurry come up mentality people. But growth does not come overnight. We must learn to respect organic systems and not opt for seeking magic and all sorts of worthless gymnastics like Finsac 2.0, for example. Tampering with discretionary funds in Jamaica's budget is like pulling threads from a tightly woven fabric. It risks unraveling the whole system. So you see to fix it by pulling the threads, but it risks unraveling the entire system. Stability and gradual growth are key, especially in a challenging economic climate. Golding's ambition to make a bold statement for his campaign is understandable, but caution and pragmatism are essential to avoid unintended consequences. And I am here to expose the threat of Finsac 2.0. My people, this is serious and I had to spend some time on it. Well, it's all I have to say for now. So think about it. Peace out.